Social media is a crowded and fast-moving place. In fact, the average social media user each day scrolls the height of the Statue of Liberty. Needless to say, it's getting harder and harder to stand out and grab your customers' attention. However, having an approach that brands your social media will help you instantly connect and attract your ideal clients. We're going to talk about that today on the Marketing Essentials podcast.
7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
Hi, and welcome to the Marketing Essentials podcast. Our unique team helps small businesses grow by providing essential marketing expertise.
Hello, and welcome to the Marketing Essentials podcast. My name is Bill with W. Parmentier Photography.
I'm Justin with Justin Kerr Design.
And I'm Alicia with the Spark Social.
And together we make up
the Marketing Essentials team.
So today we are going to talk about, what are we talking about, Justin?
We're talking about social media branding. So...
Okay, this is interesting because I don't think we've really touched on this too much.
No, we haven't.
Before.
No.
Alicia's like, nope.
we have talked about branding.
Yes.
And we have talked about social media.
But now we're mashing the two together.
That's right. So maybe just as a quick primer for our listeners, when we talk about branding, we're talking about how you present, how your company presents itself in person and online. And of course, social media is Alicia's area of expertise.
So we're having our resident expert tell us all about it.
Right. How you should consistently and effectively present your company online.
Nice.
So yeah, just to be clear, I am not a photographer and I'm not a branding expert. I'm a social media marketer. But today's topic is branding on social. And there's basically two elements to social, right? There's written, which is written content. And then you have your visuals, which can come down to graphics and images.
Okay.
So we have the perfect trifecta here, right?
Right. So we've talked about content before on social. We've talked about content in general many, many times on the podcast. And that has its place on social, obviously, the written word and the script that goes along with it. We talked about social media voice in another podcast. On this one, for the branding of social media, I just want to talk about your visual elements.
Okay.
So back in the day,
way back in my
social
time.
media.
Back in my day.
How far back actually, that's a good question. How far back does social media go?
Well, if you count MySpace, that was truly the first social media.
That was what, in the 90s?
I don't even think that was the 90s.
Was it early 2000s? I thought it was the end of the 90s, but...
End of 90s, 2000s.
Okay, now I'm going to have to look that up.
Facebook.
I'll look it up while we're talking.
I'd be willing to bet that it was after 2000.
Okay,
I would
keep talking amongst yourselves.
I would refer to Facebook as the OG of social media.
Okay.
Right? Like they started it, they're still here. And that was roughly 2008. I want to say 2008. Maybe 2009. Nope, 2008.
Wow, standing corrected. You're right, 2003. August 1st, 2003 was when MySpace started.
And Facebook was 2008.
I didn't look that up.
I want to say it was 2008.
Okay,
So it seems like they've been around forever, but in actuality...
It's really not that long. Yeah. But things have shifted drastically, right? Like it's getting busier out there. 2007? 2004.
For Facebook?
Started in Cambridge, Mass. in 2004.
Yeah,
I think it was open to the public though.
Probably not until like 2007.
Yeah, that was
I think it
probably
started on a college campus, right?
It was where Harvard was it? Or?
Oh, no,
Cambridge,
you're right. I was in college. I'm getting my college dates mixed up with my high school dates. I'm old. Oh man. Anyway.
Holy smokes.
I digress.
Revenue in 2018, 55 billion.
Whoa, I should have totally bought that stock.
I know. Anyway, sorry. See what happens when you go down that rabbit hole?
So
the
social
internet.
media, which has not been around that
So
long.
less than, let's say for the sake of argument, less than 17 years.
Right. But the fact that it changes so rapidly is what the point you were making.
No, when business for Facebook first came out, or the business pages, on social media, you really could get away with not having like a strong visual game. But now we have some game changers out there, right? We have Instagram. We have more social media channels coming to play. We have more people on social media. We have more users on social media. The feeds are busier. It's crowded. It's hectic out there.
There's more noise.
Yeah. And so that, a stat that the average user scrolls the entire height of the Statue of Liberty in one day on social media.
So how just out of curiosity, how much time do you think they spend on any one image or one photo?
Seconds.
I'm sorry, I'm just going off here, but the height of the Statue of Liberty is pretty tall.
Mm-hmm.
So how many photos and images do you think you'd see in that time frame? Thousands?
Yeah, that depends on the device you're looking on. But on a phone, yeah. I will oftentimes look over my wife's shoulder while she's going through her Facebook feed. And it's interesting that some things will stop her and other things will stop me. And I'll have to say, oh, could you go back like 2 images because I wanted to see that thing.
Well, you're messing up her algorithm, Justin, because not to freak people out, but it's watching your wife and what she stops on and saying, oh, Dawn likes these things, so let's show her more of these things. Meanwhile, while she scrolls quickly past other things, that stuff is going to become less relevant to her feed.
You're creeping me out.
Yes, it is creepy. Now, I would imagine seeing that Facebook owns Instagram, it's the same thing because my daughters, I've watched them over the shoulders on Instagram just going,
it's fast.
And they'll stop for a cat video, and then it's like, wow.
or a jumping dog in a box.
Never know what's going to get your attention on social. But, you know, with that point being made, you have to really make sure you have a brand to bring to social media. Sure. And you have to make sure that users are going to quickly correlate, you know, you and your brand with the visuals that you're putting out there. So my first thing, really, really technical thing, but I've seen big brands mess up on this and I've seen smaller companies mess up on this, is your logo. I don't know if this is anybody else's rule, but my rule is your profile picture should always be your logo. Someone arguing with me on that one, because I've seen people do it. I've seen big brands change it. Don't do it. Just don't do it. Because here's my argument on this one, and tell me if you guys feel differently. The logo is so small when the profile picture is so small when you're on your mobile device on Insta, Facebook, LinkedIn. It's like, why try to cram anything else in there? If it's a picture of you, if you're a coach or you're representative, your face is
you're saying your logo should always be your
profile.
As opposed to having like a picture of you with the logo in the bottom corner.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, if you are a real estate agent or you're a professional that has that face, but what I'm saying is don't let it be. So I saw someone who, I don't want to put them under the bus, but you know, they had a product. Okay, we'll just go real general. They had a product, right? And it comes in boxes. They're really nice boxes. You can't see it in the profile picture. So they have their products stacked up in these boxes in the profile picture.
You can't see the logo.
It's so small. And you're also missing out on that brand equity that you can acquire with your logo and stop people and say, oh yeah, that's that logo. I saw it on their website. Now it's on their social and now it's in there.
Now, I don't know if this is the right way to do things, but when Justin made my logo for me, he made me the one that had the text that had my business name on it. But then he also gave me a different version, which was just the image itself.
Right.
And I used the image itself.
Which is a component of your...
Correct. And I use that as my avatar on most things, as opposed to having...
But when people see your logo, they're going to make the connection because it's part of...
Well, I'm just saying that works in that type... I'm trying to say that you don't have to have the whole logo either.
No.
As long as you have
something that's a visual representation. Yeah. And so a good example too is you could be losing out on tags, because I went to tag a company on Instagram that we had received a gift from, and her logo was not her profile picture. So when you're tagging someone, you don't know, all you see is the name, and sometimes you don't get your company name, you get like Bill _ Parmentier or something like that. So if I don't see the same thing that I saw on your website, that I saw on your business card or your packaging, and I'm going to tag you, I can't tell that's you unless your logo is there in your profile picture. So it's small. You need that instantaneous recognition with your logo. It should be a logo that's formatted for social, also very important. And it allows people to instantly tag you and associate you with your company.
Makes absolute sense.
So don't change it.
I made the mistake. This is probably a little bit of a tangent, but I have on my Facebook page, I have a Facebook business page, right? But somewhere along the line a while back, and I never deleted it, I had one that just said Bill Parmentier Photographer. And that's still floating around out there. And every so often, somebody will tag that one instead of tagging my business page. And I got to get rid of it. And I keep saying to myself, I got to get rid of it. But that's the other thing to watch out for, is making sure that your branding's, people know they'll go to the right thing. Don't dilute it by making people get confused like I did.
Don't dilute it. That's a great word. Don't dilute your brand by not putting your logo front and center.
Sure. No, it makes sense, because that's how people are going to recognize you. And somebody like Justin goes through a lot of work to get that brand identity together for you. Why aren't you using it? Why aren't you, unless you don't believe in it for some reason, and in which case I would say go find somebody that can get you one that you do buy.
Yeah. My only exception there would be a coach or like a real estate agent who does use their face as their brand.
Yeah, I would agree with you on that if it's something that they have to use their face. Sense. But even then, you could probably come up with a logo that would incorporate something in it. But yeah, I get what you're saying. So let's, for the sake of argument, say 80 to 90% of the time, the logo is all you really want.
Mm-hmm. I really don't see a need to change it. Keep that one consistent. Now, you have the cover photo on most social media channels. Instagram is the only one you don't get the cover photo on for the most part.
Yeah.
But LinkedIn, Twitter, Facebook, use that cover photo as the photo you change, because people try to like use their profile picture for like, oh, I have a sale or I have a seasonal special, and they try to cram that into their profile image. But use the cover photo as the seasonal change, use that as the special or the campaign or something like that.
Are you clicking a mouse over there?
Yeah.
I know, because every so often, that's what I was trying to say during the last podcast. I could hear click.
Yeah,
click.
I'm looking at my Facebook business page and realize I'm using my photo as my avatar instead of my brand.
Yeah, you really should put your brand avatar.
Again, this comes back though. You're not a huge company where you have multiple employees. People will be working with you. And in the marketing essentials sense, I did switch it up to our Facebook is our, the three of us, because I wanted that face recognition.
Yeah. Well, I mean, he could put a picture of himself in the banner, like you were saying, and then still keep his logo. You could take one of those branding images of you, Justin, put it. You could very easily make it into a banner photo, and then leave your regular logo as your avatar. Because I think I agree with Alicia right now, because they're looking for you. It's one thing to say, okay, my picture's fine, but I think later on down the line, if you start to get bigger and bigger, you want them to recognize your logo too.
Yeah,
and I do have the marketing essentials as the three of us right now, but I should probably. It's the same picture when you get to the website, so at least we have that consistency. But I think the logo, because it's just when you go to the feed. Even now I'm looking at it and it's like, you can't really see our faces when you're in the feed.
No,
you really can't.
Especially now you're looking at it on a computer. It's even smaller when you're looking at it on a phone.
Yeah. So
you're barely seeing our faces. You're seeing probably the point of a pin,
Yeah. So just keep the logo there. Keep it simple. You invested in a great logo. Showcase it in your profile for that consistency.
Yep.
Use that cover photo to change it up and have like those different, we're having, our team picture in the cover photo or something.
Well, I think it's sort of like we did on the marketing essentials page, where we have the avatar, the iPhone version avatars of ourselves that are across the banner. I think it's great, but it works in with everything. You know what I'm saying? And we still have the logo as the main avatar, right? Do we still have that?
Let me just go back. Let me take a look.
I'm pretty sure we still have the logo as our avatar, but I could be wrong.
The Marketing Essentials Facebook?
I think it's the logo.
Yeah, the Marketing Essentials team logo.
I think it's the three. It's the logo.
Oh, no, it's actually the picture of the three of us on.
Well, yeah, that's what I was just saying.
So something like that. We need to change that, because on a phone you won't see that.
I'm going to change it before this podcast airs.
Okay. All right, cool. So that was people going, what are they talking about?
Maybe I should follow my own rules. I'm really good at setting rules and not following them.
That's okay. You know what they say, rules are meant to be broken, right? I guess no. I mean, this is actually a good side note, because sometimes the rules are meant to be broken. We can give a general set of rules, but obviously you need to take that on a case-by-case basis as to whether it makes sense for your business. But yes, I would say the majority of the time I would agree with you. The logo is probably what they want to put up on. Now, let me ask this question. Now, are we talking strictly on just Facebook right now? Or are we talking all social media across the board?
I would say all of them, because they're all like this little tiny icon.
What about in the case of like LinkedIn? Would you still use a logo on LinkedIn, or
if it's your business page?
Oh, okay. So
your business.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
I get you.
So all business pages. So you do have that blurred line. Yeah. Because if it's your personal page, you definitely want your profile.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
That is a good point. So this is business page only, but keep that brand there. On your personal profile, though, if you work for a company and you want to brand your profile, have that cover photo reflect here. So like on mine, Spark is me. My personal Facebook is me. But my cover photo has the Sparks logo. Yeah. So they come there, they see my face, they've, interacted with me in public, and they instantly see I am part of the Spark Social.
See, I'm lucky that my logo is my face.
You do get away with that pretty easily. Yeah, that works out. That designer knew a thing or two, I guess. So you have your cover photo, work with that. But in addition to that, we have other visuals that are going on social, right? So you have the feed. And that's, I think the game changer for us and why branding is so important now for social media images is because of Instagram. Because before you could post in your feed and it's forgiving, right? Because Facebook, LinkedIn, Twitter especially moves so fast that you would post an image and if it's kind of not a good image,
it would go by quick and you were done with it.
It's gone in a few days. Yeah. Twitter, it's gone in a few minutes. So you get away with it. But Instagram, if you think about when you come to the feed, you have this, or I'm sorry, if you come to the profile,
you
have the grid.
Every photo, the grid of every photo that was ever. Now you can archive them if you go back and if you on Instagram, if you find, like, say you put up a photo you didn't like, you can actually go back and archive that photo so that it's not seeable by the general public.
Right.
But you have to know to do that. If you just put it up there and forget about it, like you said, it's there forever. So what do you suggest as far as the proper way to
have
have a good brand?
Yeah. So we call it a branded grid.
Okay.
And so we're carrying this over to Facebook and LinkedIn and every other social media channel because why not?
Sure.
We're not doing it just for Instagram, also because it's noisy out there and you want to have that visual that's going to, you want to connect with someone. You want to have that experience visually that they're going to have with your product or when they walk into your business. You want them to know who you are. You want them. So for instance, if Justin does your branding, you are a series company and you have this mission statement and it's very professional and buttoned up. And then you get to your visuals and they're like funny, like
board shorts and Hawaii
memes. And yeah, exactly. There's going to be an alignment that is not, the alignment's not there.
So, okay. I know you've talked about this in the past, but I think it bears repeating. The importance of having your brand carry over from one social media channel to another.
Absolutely.
You don't want to have like your Instagram looking like one type of business and then your Facebook looking like something different and LinkedIn looking something totally different, correct?
Yes, exactly. You want to keep them pretty consistent. Obviously, LinkedIn is more business professional, so maybe you don't post some of the things that you post on Instagram and Facebook, but that visual, right? So let's think about that. I'm going to name some businesses that are doing a great job.
Okay.
Long Live.
They have a local brewery here. Yep.
And I'm going to name some bigger ones. Then you have companies like Airbnb or GoPro. Another one I was looking at their feed recently, Sugar Wish.
I'm not familiar with Sugar Wish. What are they?
They are a gift giving system, and you can send someone a gift, and then that person can pick out their own candy online, and it comes in a little cute box.
Cool.
And it was a really cool experience.
Yeah, I got some M&Ms and some Swedish fish.
Oh, I got Swedish fish and jelly beans.
Oh, I love Swedish fish. I never heard of the place, but it sounds good to me already.
Yeah.
Nicole ate all our Swedish fish, or I would have shared it. Well, she didn't eat them all. We all ate them.
Nicole, you've been banned from the podcast.
Nicole just got thrown under the bus.
Nicole just got banned from the podcast forever.
But if you go to Sugar Wish, and I'll put these grid visuals up, their Instagrams, right? Particularly.
Yep.
At one glance, because you can see I think the first 9 photos in the grid on your phone, I can tell they are a candy company, they are fun, and they are a professional business because their grid is so branded that there's no way you can't get a vibe for the company, what they do, and that level of service you're going to experience with them by looking at their feed.
That makes sense. Now, what do you do with somebody that's already got an Instagram feed that they've been working with for a while and it may not be right on brand? Do you have them go back and get rid of a lot of stuff, or do you just go forward from there?
Yeah, that's a tough one because, again, you look at some of these early players on Instagram and they're, that's what I was saying. You could get away with so much back in the day. And you can see it's so easy on Instagram. Just scroll down the feed and you can see when their marketing strategy shifted and they had a more brand cohesive strategy come in for their visuals. So leave them if they're not horrible, because that does kind of, it's your library of content.
Yeah.
And, how many people really do scroll all the way back in the feed, but maybe have a plan from the beginning, so come up with that strategy. So Long Live, right? They have product, they have beer, they have beer.
Yeah.
How many ways can you photograph beer?
Well, you're asking photographers.
Exactly. But so they have, it seems like they have a strategy. So they do a mix of product with graphic and then product showcased in the space.
Sure.
And before you see, the brand, who it is, because their visuals are so consistent. So using the same type of setups or backdrops or
consistency is key when you're doing the imagery.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
There's a consistent feel there. And you can see it with the bigger brands. And I think the great thing here is that you don't need to be Apple You don't need to be Patagonia in order to accomplish this. When you have a strategy in place for your visuals, that person will instantly know before maybe it's subconscious, but they will know right away that, this is you before they even realize that it's you.
Yeah, I think this is the thing that we've tried on this podcast to really kind of ram home is, as a small business, you still need to think about these things. You need to think about having a consistent brand, having that carry from your website to your social media channels, and that it's not exclusive to the big brands, like you said. That you can start now, even when you're a little mom and pop or a single sole proprietor, and you can still have good branded material on your website and elsewhere.
Yeah. And if you have limited product or a service-based business, that doesn't mean you're out for the count on Insta or having branded and always using, some people may think like, oh, I always have to use stock. No, you don't. You just have to have a strategy in place. And so what will that visual content look like with photos, but also graphics, so the colors that align with your brand guide, will your logo be featured in some of the images, things like that.
Well, and also bear in mind, and I'm talking from a photography standpoint, you also want to think about the feel of the photo. And what I mean by that is a darkly lit photo conveys a very different message than a very bright photo. So if you're a company like what was it, the Wish? What did you say it was?
Sugar Wish, very bright.
I'm guessing they're probably going to be just by what you're telling me that they do is more of a bright logo.
Yeah, candies,
bright
fun,
photo, excuse me.
yeah.
Whereas a bar or a brewery could probably get away with a little bit of a darker pub feel.
Here's a good example: Gracie's Providence. So I'm going to put all the visuals up of these grids. But Gracie's is an upscale restaurant. You typically go there for a date.
Yeah, maybe an anniversary or something like
lighting.
that. Yeah.
You want that, and so their images do convey that this is
And I think a lot of businesses forget that. They just think, oh, hey, here's my latest offering. Click, throw it up there. Or, here's something that's going on. Well, does it fit with the feel of your brand?
Yeah. No, and so it's hard because we're on a podcast and we're talking about visuals to convey exactly what I'm, referencing, but I will put these in the show notes. But people who see these before they go to Long Live, they know what the space looks like. Before they order from Sugar Wish, they know they're going to have a fun experience.
Yep.
Before they go to Gracie's, they know it's a fancy
high-end restaurant. Yeah.
That you're going to go for probably romantic or, something candlelit and upscale.
Sure. So Justin, what went from your end of things as far as, the logo and the branding, what do you suggest to your clients when it comes to how they use the logo going? Do you actually sit down and have a conversation with them and say, okay, here's the logo and here's the branding. Here's my suggestions on how, based on the conversations we've had, how you should be using this in all of your other materials?
Yeah, that's part of the strategy conversations that I have with them is, where is this going to be used?
Sure.
And I'll have them give me as many of those different applications as possible. 9.5 times out of 10, social media is involved. Might be one channel, 2 channel, 3 channels, but that has to be considered, because might have to have a version for social media. Now,
let me ask this, and I probably already know the answer to this, but we were just talking about how imagery has a certain feel, like whether it's bright or more subdued. Do you take what they're going to be doing from the imagery standpoint into account when you're doing a logo for them and doing the branding? So in other words, if it's a brewery, obviously it's going to be a different color palette than if something was bright like a candy store.
Oh, sure. I mean, the color palette is important because color has an emotional and psychological element to it. So you want the color to enhance or reinforce the brand. So if you're a microbrewery, unless, you specifically ask for it, probably not going to use pink. I mean, now that could be the brand.
Oh,
right?
sure. Yeah.
But you have to carefully consider the color palette and how it's going to support the brand. So if the brand is conservative and buttoned down, then the color palette's got to support that.
You're not going to use pastels, right?
Right. And like in Alicia and Nicole's case, the Spark Social. And after I did the branding strategy with them, I knew it had to be exciting and fun and vibrant. Yeah. So that's why there's hot pink and electric blue involved.
And you will see that through our Instagram feed because we try to incorporate our logo, whether it's in person, like in pictures or
on a mug.
Yeah, exactly. So
Cool. I think we're, wow. Oh, we still got a few minutes left. Okay. I thought I looked over at the little clock here and I thought maybe we were off. So,
yeah, I keep seeing Will's hand and I'm like,
Yeah.
are we 5 or 10?
so where are we? I lost track of.
I did change the avatar on our
did you?
Facebook
Did you?
page.
Thank you.
Yeah.
I'm like, shit, I should probably have that up.
I mean, we may adjust it, but at least now it's a part of our logo. So, and it's, a graphic. So as you're scrolling down the feed, it stands out,
Sure, sure.
rather than the three of us, which is a nice photo, but when you jam it down to like 30 by 30 pixels, it doesn't look like much.
I think Bill took the photo. You made the logo. And so it's a great photo, but its place should be in the feed so you can see our faces, Yeah, definitely.
Like you said, it's one of those things where we talk about doing it, but you forget, I got to do it on our end. So,
Yeah.
So until you make a podcast episode about it, this stuff doesn't get done.
So we'll have to make a podcast episode about everything that we have issues with, I guess. I don't know.
Right.
But I think, if you have to sum this up, how can you take your brand to social media is really with the visual content. Consistency.
Sure.
So from one photo to the next. And that doesn't mean you have to have a professional photographer every time, but take into account the experience that you want your users to feel through your pictures.
Sure.
So are you using certain angles, certain, shots, certain filters, if you use filters, the color palette of your brand, and just keep it consistent. And if it's still kind of elusive to you, because I realize this may not be natural for everybody, then you can work with a strategist, a brand. If you don't have a brand in place, you have Justin. If you need more custom photography, you have Bill. And then if you're still struggling with how to bring this all to social media so it's cohesive, you have me.
Yeah, exactly.
There you go.
So you get, like you said in the very beginning, you get the trifecta. All of us.
Yeah.
It's rare that we get to talk about all three of our things all in one podcast. But yeah, this absolutely makes sense. That, you need a little bit of everything and you need to be cognizant of all that.
So thank you, Instagram, for forcing us to have branded grids and bring our social media to the next level.
Exactly.
Just making it harder for everybody, right?
So
right.
So if somebody's looking to get a hold of you, Alicia, and try to actually get some help with their social media, making sure it's all on point, how would they do so? So
you can find us at The Spark Social on Instagram and Facebook. And you can also find us online, thespark.social. So that's a non-traditional
nice.
domain.
It's one of the new ones, huh? Nice.
Yeah, but they're becoming more and more.
Well, it's like mine's .photos. So yeah, I get you.
Everything's taken.
Well, yeah, I mean, that's why they opened up all these new domains. But I think you're going to see more and more of these, .design, .photo, .social, just as more and more websites start popping up.
Well, I guess we're at the end of this episode. And until next week.
See ya.
See ya. Thank you for joining us today. And as always, you can find the back episodes of our podcast on Apple Podcasts. And you can also find us on our YouTube channel. Both of them are the Marketing Essentials Team.
You can find us on the web at marketingessentialsteam.com. And if you subscribe through our website, you'll receive a weekly email and letting you know when each episode has been published. Also, you'll receive a link to subscriber-only content.
You can also find us on Facebook in our private Facebook group. Just search Little Roadie Marketing Support Group. It's a great place for other marketing professionals and business owners where we can share marketing advice, challenges, and general trends. Hope to see you there.